Hey everyone, welcome back to Garnock Reviews and welcome back to another Great Harbour GH47. This yacht's currently for sale and she's lying in Longboat Key, which is near Sarasota in Florida. And she's for sale for $565,000 through Great Harbour Yacht and Ship Brokerage directly. This is actually the last ever Great Harbour GH47 that was made, and she's presented in immaculate condition and benefited from several upgrades over the years. I've been fortunate to review several Great Harbour yachts since starting this channel, and I've always been impressed by how much space they have for their size, as well as how impressive their range is, and the fuel economy that they have from their engines. This yacht offers so much space and accommodation that this is actually the owner's permanent home. They live on board at full time, both at the dock and when cruising. As we step on board and make our way aft, you can see how clear the decks are. All the cleats are off to the side. You get the solid handholds. And you can see on the aft deck this yacht's actually got a magma grille. And then we have a 12-foot flex boat rib. This has got a centre console. It's got an electric start 4-stroke outboard. It's a Honda 30 horsepower. And she's launched easily with the electric deck crane. Just a few short steps takes you up to the Flybridge, and for a yacht of this size it's got a very large and spacious flybridge. The forward section of the Flybridge benefits from a large bimini canopy, and we've got a drop down table here with seating for 6, and then as well as the main helm seat you've also got a seat on either side as well for keeping your friends and family close by. The Flybridge boasts full engine instrumentation. You've also got the bow thruster controls. You've got the Simrad multifunction electronics. You can do the chart plotter, radar, depth, and you can also do overlays as a combination. You've got your ICOM VHF radio, and you get perfect 360-degree visibility for both when you're cruising and also close quarter manoeuvring. And underneath the seating that we have around the cockpit table, there's actually storage underneath these seats. This would be ideal for storing things like cushions, maybe canopy covers, and if you want to bring the bimini top down, you could probably put it in here as well. And you can see from the thickness of these cushions that these are very comfortable to sit on and relax and enjoy. As we make our way to the aft of the Flybridge, you can see that this area is open and exposed, and the owners have taken full advantage of that by having sun loungers out here. And finally, you can see up here we've got a radar arch, and this houses the antennas. It's got the radar array, it's got the KVH satellite TV dome, it's also got the camera on here, as well as deck lights. For those looking at tackling the Great Loop, this yacht has got a bridge clearance of 14 feet and 5 inches. So make our way back down to the aft deck. You can see the rib and also the electric deck crane we were talking about. But one feature of the aft deck that I really liked is the fact that they've got 2 large deck storage boxes. And if you notice, these are actually ventilated, so if you wanted to keep things like cleaning materials, perhaps you've got gas tank for the outboard, for the tender, and of course you could also use these for ropes and fenders for when you're underway. Because of the size and location of the storage boxes, these can also double up as being almost like a bench seat, especially with that barbecue being on the aft rail. And again, as we make our way around to the bow, you can see how clear the deck is for walking. You can see we've got the strong handholds, there's an easy access. There is boarding access for this yacht on both the port and starboard side, and there's also access to the wheelhouse on both port and starboard side. And as we make our way through the Portuguese bridge, you can see we've got a clear bow area, and these have got the large storage boxes in here as well. And again, this would be ideal for ropes and fenders for when you're underway, but also because of their location, you can relax up here while you're cruising or at anchor. And speaking of anchor, we've got 2 self-launching anchors on the bow pulpit, and this is with a Maxwell 1500 dual chain windlass. There is approximately 300 foot of all chain rode, and this windlass can be operated from the deck, but it can also be operated from the lower helm. And for the interior review, I'm going to do this one a little different. I'm going to start at the lowest point of the yacht and work my way back up. And the lowest point is the large engine room that you can access through the hatch in the saloon. I love how much room you have to manoeuvre in this engine room, and also how clean everything is and how well it's laid out. Here you've got your water separators as well as your water maker, and you can start to see the engines come into focus. This yacht's powered by twin Yanmar diesel engines. They're approximately 75 horsepower each, which is 150 horsepower total. You'll cruise at speeds of around 7 knots, while maximum speed of 9 knots. And from the 1300 gallons of diesel, you're looking at somewhere in the region of 3,500 nautical mile range. You can see we've got the Great Harbour's exclusive tower type sea chest through which all the incoming seawater flows. The seacocks on the sea chest mean no cleaning out messy sea strainers, and all seacocks are in one place and easier to access. The engines have approximately 1100 hours on the clock, and there's also a 13 kilowatt generator down here, and that's only got around 320 hours. The prop shafts and the shaft seals were replaced in 2019, which is partly why the bilges are so dry. 2 of the 3 domestic AC units have been replaced, the water heater's been replaced, as has the AC pump, freshwater pump, and all engines have been serviced recently. As well as accessing the engine room from the saloon hatch, there is actually a passageway that leads through to the utility room, just for ease of access. As we step up into the utility room, you'll see here that we've got the fuel polishing system. You've got the water maker and generator start panels, you get the full boat main electrical panel, you get the switchable raccords for the main engines and the gensets, and you got the electrical gauges for the tankage. And finally, before we move on from the utility room, you have got the 2019 GE washer and a dryer. And as we step out of the utility room, you start to get a first glimpse of the fit and finish of this yacht, and you can see that it's finished to a very high standard. I love the way that the woodwork shines with the different varnishing stains used. The white vinyl walls that you see, that is very easy to clean and maintain. And there's so much space, you don't feel claustrophobic when you're walking around this yacht. You've got plenty of headroom, but you've also got plenty of room in general. A divide between the dining room and the main corridor, and you can see it's just another way that Great Harbour utilise every storage space possible. And you'll also notice that we've got these push buttons for locking the doors so that nothing can open while you're underway. And the dining area is currently set for 4, but it can seat 6. And this table actually folds down and converts to a queen size berth if you wanted to for having guests on board. Now I know you're not supposed to call a galley on a yacht the kitchen, but when it comes to Great Harbour it feels like you are stepping into a kitchen. Everything you could possibly need from home has been included. Here we've got a 23 cubic foot, it's a twin door refrigerator, it's got a lower drawer with a freezer, and it's even got the water dispenser on the front. And there's just tons of cabinet space, as well as drawers throughout this galley. And again, they've all got that push button lock in place to keep everything safe and secure. And underneath the cabinets here you see you've got a little music system. Notice how much power outlets there is throughout the galley. And for hot meals you've got a convection oven microwave, as well as a 4-burner stovetop. And as we pan round through the galley, I like the little portholes, I thought that was a nice finishing touch to them. And also you've got a large double sink here as well. And one more creature comfort from home is this actually has got a dishwasher built in to make it easier for you as well. Now for extra storage, especially if you were doing long distance passages, is because of how dry the bilges are, there's actually plenty of storage underneath the decks here. You can buy storage containers and you can keep different things that you need close at hand. And whenever you're doing liveaboard use or extended cruising, storage is always key. As we make our way forward, there's another storage compartment here in the passageway, and this is where the owner has been storing things like water, kitchen towels and toilet rolls. Can't stress enough how hot it was outside when I was filming this yacht, but everywhere on board was cool thanks to the AC system throughout. Next up is the main heads compartment on board. I really like the shine off the dark countertop here, and it's also got a vanity mirror. I was really impressed with how much space you have in the shower unit. And behind the door we've actually got a linen closet as well for keeping all your towels and toiletries close by. And below that is the vacuum flush controls, and this yacht's got 250 gallon holding tank. And then we'll make our way forward to the master stateroom. And this stateroom offers a centre island berth. It's 60 inches by 80 inches and a queen size bed with a memory foam mattress. You could easily work from home on this yacht. There's a little workstation area here, and you got the TV overhead. And I like the fact you even have storage on top of the drawers and cabinets. If you notice the woodwork, there's a little leaf around the edge, so nothing can slide off while the boat's underway. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is the owner's permanent home, so I didn't open every drawer and cabinet out of respect and privacy, but hopefully there's enough here to show you what to expect from the storage on board. And again, notice how solid all the doors and drawers lock into place using that little push button system. I also like the different lighting options that was in this cabin. Obviously you've got the artificial lights overhead, and you've also got lights at the headboard of the main bed. You've got the portholes on the side, and you've also got the overhead hatch. So regardless of what time of day or what the weather is, you've always got different options available for you. And for the most part, this yacht's got a symmetrical design for the cabin, so what's available on one side is also available on the other. And also, just like I showed you in the Galley, this cabin also has storage under the deck. And what the owners have been doing is things like clothes you know you're not going to wear anytime soon, perhaps different season, whatever. You can put that in storage bags and containers, and you can put that under the deck, and it just keeps it out of the way. Being a master stateroom, this cabin is en suite, and you've got the toilet, you've got the shower, and you've got a little wash hand basin and vanity mirror out here as well. And as you can see, even in here there's additional storage for towels and toiletries and linens and things like that. And as we make our way back out, the vanity mirror here that you can see above the sink, that also opens up for additional storage inside it as well. And after leaving this cabin, we'll make our way down the passageway heading aft, and this will take us to the main saloon. And again, I know I'm not supposed to use house terms when on board the boat, but the main saloon really does look more like a house living room. There's so much space, there's so much comfort, there's so much light. You can see we've got a large U-shaped settee, and there's actually space here for between 6 and 8 people to sit comfortably, but underneath the settee is all storage as well. And from the saloon you can actually step out onto the aft cockpit, and there's plenty of room out here. You could put like a little dining table, something like that. You could relax out here. You've got solid roof overhead. You've got canopy, which you can either keep enclosed, you can roll up, or you could remove. You do have boarding access on either side. And in the corner you can see you've got things like the fuel filler, which again is just kept out of the way so it's not an issue. And one of the design features of this yacht that I liked is the size of the bathing platform. If you were boarding the tender, or if you were swimming, or things like that, it's easy enough to get in and out of the water. And you can see we've got a large solid boarding ladder as well. On the bulkhead you can see we've got a little storage locker here. This has actually got a hose in it. You could use for showering off when you come out the water, but you can also use it as a deck hose as well for anything that you need to wash off. And you can see on the deck we've got 2 watertight hatches. The one closest to the saloon door, that offers a lot of storage space underneath. This would be ideal for fishing equipment. You could put dive equipment, cleaning equipment. You might even get a folding bike down through the hatch. Anything that you need, it's all going to be watertight, safe and secure, and easily accessible. Now, as to the other access hatch that you saw on the deck, that's one that's closer to the stern. You could use for storage, but the main access point here is so you can get access to all your steering and rudder hardware that goes on. That way it's easy to maintain, it's easy to inspect, and any issues can easily be addressed. And if we jump back into the saloon and back into the AC, as we work our way around, you can see that opposite the U-shaped settee area, we've got the TV, we've got full entertainment system over here. There's more worktop space, plenty of locker space and drawers. And I like the way that this can all be put away for when the yacht's underway if needed. And then as we move further forward, There's a few short steps up, and this takes you into the main pilot house. And this yacht actually comes with a watch cabin. It's directly behind the pilot house on the upper level. It gives you great visibility. It's got a full 60-inch by 80-inch queen berth. There's plenty of chest of drawers and storage. There's a TV in here, and it's even got its own heads compartment. As a watch cabin, I like the fact here it's close to the pilot house, so if there are any anchor alarms, bilge alarms, anything along those lines, it'd be easy enough to get to the helm and take care of whatever needs to be addressed. As well as being a watch cabin, this cabin's got so much comfort and luxury to it. You could easily use this as a guest cabin for friends and family spending time on board. And then finally, as we leave the watch cabin and we head further forward, I feel like you're stepping into the wheelhouse of a little ship. It's just so professional the way that everything's laid out. I love the visibility from the lower helm. I love the fact you get access to both the port and starboard decks. You see there's an L-shaped settee behind the helm. And this has got a chart table. It unfolds to be a dining table, but also drops down to become a large queen-size berth. And you see we've got an EPIRB mounted next to the door. And most of the electronics you see in the lower helm, these have all been replaced since 2019. So you've got your full engine instrumentation, and then underneath that you've got the autopilot. You've also got the stereo system. You've got the dual SIMRAD displays, and that's going to be your chart plotter, can be your radar, can be your depth gauge, and you see it's also hooked up to cameras throughout the yacht. And you've got your VHF radio, and you can control the searchlight. You've got a clearly labelled control panel underneath. You've got the engine and bow thruster controls. And also when it comes to the windlass, this can be controlled from here, as well as you can see you've got the different wiper, horn, and the horn's been replaced recently as well. And then of course you've got all your navigation lights and anchor lights. And you can even have a lanyard to control the autopilot. So if you wanted to, you could cruise single-handed, and you can still manoeuvre the yacht as needed. And you'll also see in the bottom drawer, this is where the owner has kept a lot of the safety equipment. There's things like the flares, the foghorn, things like that, so it's easily accessible and also close to the door. I'd like to thank the owners for their time and showing me around the yacht. I'd like to thank Eric for the opportunity to be on board to review this. And I'd like to thank you for your time and watching the video, and I look forward to catching you at the next one. Thanks everyone.